I've always believed that the arts and science have fundamentals in common. They both live and die by imagination and creativity. They both advance by breaking rules. Certainly, as a scientist, I find art stimulating and often inspiring, and it just gets your juices going, your thought juices going.
UCSF is the only campus of the entire UC system that is entirely devoted to science, entirely devoted to life sciences. There's no humanities being taught at UCSF. It's only science and it's only research, and yet it is the only campus that has commissioned art as a matter of policy.
When I took office as Chancellor, no work had been done yet at our Mission Bay site. There were vacant lots and some warehouses. And so we had to do a general plan. There was a master plan for how the building should be sited and general design principles for the buildings, but really nothing else had been thought about for the site. And I immediately thought that we should try to build public art into the program there. There was the example of two other UC campuses, University of California campuses, that I had long admired, the Stewart collection at the University of California, San Diego, and the wonderful sculpture collection on the campus at UCLA. And I had been on those campuses numerous times and always enjoyed the art.
I think at UCSF it's different because UCSD's collection, the Stewart collection, is so embedded here in the landscape. And every piece has been the result of several years of thought and effort. UCSF kind of sprang out of the ground over a period of 10 years, which is a long time, but it's a very short time in the life of architecture. And the sculpture sprang out of the ground sort of with it. It's an urban context. And so the artwork has been in response to that.
Art greatly enhances any public space, and certainly our Mission Bay campus was going to be a very public space. And it also enhances the workplace. It's stimulating, it's provocative. I know that when I walk into a laboratory building where there's some good art on the wall, I feel welcome and I feel good.
What I love in a great artwork is the way it makes you look at things differently. And that's my favorite thing about a lot of them. A lot of the works around here is how an artist somehow had the guts and the imagination and whatever else it was, and the talent, and also the craftsmanship to put together something that is just so different and unusual and stimulating and not like something you've seen before. And it makes you think differently. And that, as I said earlier, is something we really want around here. Some of the artwork actually almost accidentally looks like it has some connection to science, like the giant Jim Isserman chandelier in the Genentech Hall atrium here. A lot of people initially thought that must mean DNA or something, because it looks like a series of molecules all lined up. But in fact, I don't think he had the slightest intention of doing that. And likewise, in some of the other artwork, there were some apparent connections to biology, but I don't think they were meant to be that. And we didn't care about that. We were just looking for good art. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to like, but I do know what I like, I guess. I really like the Balkan Hole in the community center. The giant wooden figures are really striking. Those are fantastic. There's a giant viral ball by Liz Larner over in the Cancer Center, which is very stimulating and a lot of fun and creative. It created a bit of a stir at first because it was originally in a different building, in an atrium where there was not enough room for it. And so the people in that building didn't like it at all because it was getting in their way all the time, literally. And so it moved to the Cancer Center and now has this great open home in the lobby there. In fact, the Cancer Center lobby has a lot of the really nice things. There's the Paul Koss.
My father was a doctor in Wyoming, his signature, and he gave me this book. This is Ishihara, who I believe is the person that invented the first colorblind test in 1933. And then it simply goes through different variations of color blindness and arrives at the end, if anyone can see that, it means you're totally colorblind. I can't see it at all, but the numbers here mean you are colorblind, but this is based on a value chart that colorblind people could read. Based on the fact that this is a cancer research place, building, it seemed appropriate to put in something that would be difficult to see, but when you do see it, voila, it's there. I mean, once you see it, you never miss it again. The wall is 11 feet high, 60 feet long, and the words begin right here. EVERY, every thing, THING, matters, MATTERS. The total wall can never be seen at one time. It requires the viewer to move along with the writing.
I don't think any piece was universally liked. That's just beyond hope or reason. But a piece that I found very amusing, but quite a few people who worked there reacted to otherwise, it's a group sculpture of pieces that are made to look like laboratory refrigerators and very humble things, refrigerators, banker's boxes, and so forth. And it's seating outside, outdoor seating. I thought it was very amusing, and I get a chuckle every time I go there, but there are people who just don't think that sort of thing is art. Art has to be beautiful. That's a quote. Art's supposed to be beautiful. Well, no, not necessarily. It's supposed to be provocative, thoughtful. It can be beautiful, but that's not a necessary criterion, particularly in this day and age. A piece that pushed the envelope, I would nominate the Richard Serra sculpture. Now, it's quite typical of his work, but it's not the sort of thing that you typically see on an academic campus. It's monumental, it's minimalist, and it's eccentric. I mean, those tilts to those immense plates, but it's powerful. It's very powerful, and some people liked it immediately, and some others have admitted to me that they thought it was ridiculous at first, and now that they've lived with it, they realize just how spectacular it is.
I just love Richard Serra's work, and I don't know why. It's almost an emotional thing. I think it's just because it's so massive, you know, it's such a big structure, and it looks simple, but it's really complex. And I don't know, I just like big things. I think it's great.
Technology drives a lot of art just like it does science. You know, a lot of great scientific discoveries result because of a sudden advance in technology. And I suppose that's probably true to some extent for art as well. Maybe not so much, but there are times when a new color is discovered, or a new pigment, or a new video approach, or some other thing that will suddenly raise all these amazing possibilities for doing some new form of science or art. And so, yeah, technology can help make things more interesting and creative. Many of us here do have a tendency to want to keep learning and discovering things. That's just what drives us. There's no question about that. And of course, that may be one of the big overlaps between artists and scientists, I think, is looking for the unexplored parts that we haven't got to yet. You know, whether it's inside a cell or somewhere in your mind, which is where the artists go, of course, is a much tougher place to define in tangible terms, but it is about discovering and then better still revealing it to others as well, which is a big part of the point.